Ciao a tutti, it's Orium, aka the Firefist guy for once, because we're playing Firetrix. But before we get into that, I just launched a new update for hotformatmethod.com, and with it I added new functionality for tournament organizers to be able to upload their own tournaments. So if you're an organizer or if you know organizers, you know, definitely go check that out. It will be really cool once we get even more tournaments, and it's free publicity for you. Just gotta get the lists. But yeah, I'm playing Firetrix in this replay versus Madolche's. Um, I open Double Tanky, Upstart, Dionia, and Compulse versus Lance, Angeli, Divine Wrath, Breakthrough Skill, and Magdalene. I'm playing versus Drain, and he draws Darkle. Drain is like, I cannot stand the dude, but I gotta say he's probably the best Madolche player. um, Probably the closest person that someone has gotten to solving the deck, which is weird to say because he's running such a weird card as Divine Wrath. There's not too much synergy, or at least it seems like it, but you'd be surprised. It's just a very strong card in the format. Probably one of the cards with the most underexplored potential in the format. But yeah, I see an upstart or a warning. I don't remember what I didn't have before. But go for tanky into bear, go for upstart into another dark hole. That's a pattern. Normal summon normal summon the bear into 3 back rows. Somehow it survives, and I try to attack, and instead of going for lance, he goes for a break skill. Could have also gone for a Divine Wrath, but not the most threatening guy. And then I said the warning and the compulse. He top decks instant fusion. He goes for new foil into the Angeli, and I go sure. And he goes for Angeli effect, and I go for a warning. And he goes for instant fusion. Now, why did I warning the Angeli instead of the new foil? Simply gets rid of another card in hand uh, instead of just the Mufoil, which next turn they have a normal summon still. But yeah, it goes for the Fusionist, goes for a tree, it goes for Alucard, which is interesting, but makes sense considering I only have one back row and one 1700 body. It doesn't really, and nothing in the banish zone for him to bring out Levier. So makes sense. Though I'm assuming he's not running like Zen Mains or Equipda or something. Anyways, I draw into a Tensu. Before normal summon Dionia, search out the Gorilla, and then Tensu normal summon the Gorilla. Now, why did I go for normal summon Dionia first? I don't remember, not sure, and it seems like a misplay, to be honest. But I snipe out the Divine Wrath. I go for the beatdown, and Bear is able to search the third tanky, and I don't go for an XYZ. Not quite sure why, but not really feeling his board right now. He draws into a ticket. I draw into a lance. I do have the follow-up from last turn in tanky, and I search Wolfbark, and I go for Kagutsuchi, because that is just enough to go for game. And unless he has lance, I wouldn't like this is game precisely unless he has lance, and he has lance. It's fine. I also have lance for next turn. He draws a wiretap, I win. So going into game 2, I open double tanky, duality, TTHN, and bear. Not the best hand. Meanwhile, he opens Magdalene, Messengerato, Dark Hole, Firehand, Breakthrough Skill, and MST. A much better hand, frankly. So he goes for the Magdalene into Mewtwo Will. And set 2. I top deck Mermelio, which is pretty nice, I am able to bait the breakthrough skill and beat over the Magdalene and go for the duality into MST. So over the compulsor the lance, because I really, it's good. It's just better than lance in this situation. So I'm able to set TTHN, I'm able to resolve the tanky successfully, and he top decks Divine Ref, which not the best. But because I only have a normally on the field, he can't really crash the fire hand, so that's great for me. Obviously could have set it, but he decides to go for the midfield instead, which makes sense into just one back row. But unfortunately, that back row is TTHM, which really counters him. And he has the Divine Ref, but I top deck into another bear, or Dark Hole actually, and tanky into the Gorilla to pop the back row and be able to search still. And yeah, apparently, as Drain says, the Divine Wrath is really for hand traps. And other stuff obviously. It's kind of interesting. It's a mix of the bank and breaker skill, except you gotta discard. But I do have the field, enough field for him to be able to crash with the fire hand, but he draws another fire hand, so that's unfortunate for him. Anyways, I go for a Tensu, normal summon the other bear, and I'm able to just set tanky, and he is playing 3 and 3 hands, which is interesting, or 3 and 2, I don't know. I go for a tanky into the wolf bark. I was kind of playing around the fact that I didn't want to leave tanky wide open, set tanky wide open. But with normal summon Tensu that I did before, I can regular normal summon the wolf bark and go for a black ship. And at this point I'm really not expecting the second fire hand, the third fire hand, but he does have Dark Hole and the breaker skill, but I also have Dark Hole and they have MST, so I'm able to just beat him down and hopefully he doesn't draw anything. But I top decked bottomless, so that's pretty good. He top decks Suitcake and I had bottomless, so it wasn't guaranteed the win. He still would have been left with 100 life points, but yeah. And Firetrix is just a deck that I really enjoy. I've been trying to top with it, but it's not easy. It's really not a strong deck, but I really do enjoy the low to the ground control kind of gameplay. So like it's probably the best deck in that category. Ninja Jurak is also good, I guess, but I would say that Firetrix is probably a bit better, although both are pretty shit in the format. But yeah, that's it from me. Leave a like, join the Discord, subscribe, ring the bell, and if you're an organizer, go sign up to post your results, and it'll be free publicity. You'll even show up on the map, and get more people to your OTS if you're an OTS.